Will he just do whatever the hell he wants and force the NCAA to chase him around? The NCAA has become largely toothless in recent years. Will he just do whatever the hell he wants? I mean, he's dealt with the fire and brimstone of 345 Park Avenue. He can deal with a college institution that has lost more and more and more of its power every year over the past 10 years. I think at some level he's just going to do whatever he damn well pleases. He's going to dare the NCAA to force him to stop.
I don't think he would. I don't. If he can find and finagle the bylaws of the NCAA a little bit and find stuff like that, similar to what he did in the NFL, right? But as I could tell you, in my 18 months being there in New England, I think I've said this to you before, I never saw a place that followed the rules more. Right? Now, yes, there's Spygate, and of course, and we've talked about that before. The specific language in the rule book and all that is kind of how he danced around that to a degree. And we know Deflategate. And Deflategate, I'll sit here to the day I die.
He had nothing to do with that. He had nothing to do with that.
Well, yeah, I'll go to the day I die. That is all Tom Brady and only Tom Brady. And his ball boy minions. That's what that was. So that leaves a bad taste. And to what I think those things will do will keep him on the straight and narrow, because I don't think he's going to want that reputation when it's all said and done. That, he was the greatest coach of all time, but Spygate, Deflategate, and then he went to North Carolina and cheated his ass off there too. I would be shocked. I think he's enough self-aware of that being around him, let alone, like I said, Mike, if we wanted to bet $5 on a golf tournament and he heard about it, they would squash it in New England. They were like that. So I think he'll be pretty much on the straight and narrow.
But I think it's all about understanding what the rules are, understanding which rules are enforced and which ones aren't. I think that's part of what he's going to have to learn quickly. And that may be part of what he's been gathering information about. And he's got a resource in Nick Saban as well that he can get that information from. What are the rules? Where are the gray areas that I can engineer things to my advantage? And which rules do they care about and which ones do they not care about? That's part of the understanding, and that's what makes you effective at getting the maximum advantage for your team. Understand the rules, understand how they enforce them, understand how they don't enforce them, and bend them to your advantage. Don't break them, just bend them. Just softly bend them, or aggressively if they don't enforce the rules in a given area. And every organization's like that. It's got its blind spots. It's got its priorities. And he's dealt with the NFL. He knows, I think, how to figure out how to navigate. That's the challenge, how to navigate. And the NCAA may be so damn happy he's there. I don't know. Are they going to give him? I don't know. The NCAA, one of the problems with the NCAA, they find different people that they decide they want to be hard asses with, like Jim Harbaugh. Maybe they'll decide they want to be hard asses with Bill Belichick. I don't know. And, the first time he meets with somebody from the NCAA and he grumbles at them, maybe that'll be enough. That's the problem. You talk about people skills. Bill doesn't really have people skills. And he may need them far more at the college level.
You definitely do.
For a variety of reasons.
Right.
Than you need them at the NFL level.
Right. No, you don't need – definitely. It's definitely that's the difference. And in general, right, I've had friends who have coached in the NFL and then they go to college. And then, they come back to the NFL and I see them and I go, hey, how was college? And they go, don't ever go coach in college. You don't ever get to coach. All you got to do is talk and do this and write a letter to Jimmy and Johnny and blah, blah, blah. So there's that. It's a lot more people skills. Mac Brown, my old coach, the last coach here in North Carolina, I mean, this might sound – he never coached us. There was nothing he ever said on a football field and went, hey, lower your pads or do this or do that. He was a manager and an overseer of the program. Our offense and defensive coordinator are the ones that coach us. Mac Brown sat in a golf cart and watched practice and said something every now and then with Johnny Big alumni next to him, right? So, to your point, it's all communication. Football in the NFL – it's not nearly that way. It's curmudgeon. I watch film. I got all this time and hours to do that. I can get the guys here and I can walk through and then we can go to lunch and have another meeting and then have another walkthrough and then get ready and go out to practice, right? So there's all of that, and that's where Belichick's genius, and he can implement all the stuff that he can do. He's going to get frustrated with the fact that he's going to be like, I've had to call cover 2 again for the 40th time this game. And that's where I think the rubber's going to meet the road, or it's going to be very interesting. And then to your point, Mike, yeah, he's going to have to learn how to talk to kids, the NCAA, the parents, all that. And I'm totally intrigued to see if he can do that.
And think about this. The last time Bill Belichick won a Super Bowl, the guys he will be instantly recruiting were 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
They're not going to be impressed with Bill Belichick. They're not going to bow down to Bill Belichick. They're just going to regard him as another old man who's trying to tell them what to do. And even if he somehow can hypnotize them like TikTok, when Jack Easterby shows up and gets them over, you still got to show up with the money. If you don't show up with the money, they're going to go somewhere else. One of the realities of this new NIL Wild West, and it's the NCAA's own damn fault, for years of corruption, where they denied these kids the ability to make money either directly or indirectly, antitrust violations galore, hiding in plain sight. This NIL explosion has screwed everything up. And you've got tiers of programs. You've got the best of the best that have the money. Then you've got the middle of the pack that doesn't have as much money. That's where North Carolina is. That's where West Virginia is.
Right.
That's where a lot of these programs are. So if the goal is to win championships, and that was part of what Lombardi was saying last week when he was, I think, peeling the curtain back without many realizing it. He wants to win championships. You're going to win a championship at North Carolina? Hey, if you do, maybe you really are the greatest of all time. Forget that you didn't break Don Shula's record. Forget that you're never going to approach Nick Saban's championships. If you can win one, you're the greatest of all time. North Carolina? See, I think part of it was you get North Carolina out there, and maybe one of these other programs that's thinking about dumping its coach, that's in position to compete for a championship, comes calling. And they did, back to my original point about the NFL, there wasn't a call from Ohio State if they're thinking about dumping Ryan Day. There wasn't a call from some other major program that's thinking, you know what, we kind of like our coach, but we'd like Bill Belichick even more. That never happened. So I don't know how you're going to win a championship in North Carolina. I mean, I'm realistic about it. We ain't winning a championship up in Morgantown. Why would anybody think they're going to win one at Chapel Hill?
Yeah, no, and listen, it's a tall task. It is. There's no doubt about that. Mac Brown, again, back to him. We've seen him he had some teams there back in the 90s. That was about the best North Carolina ever was on their prime, where they were top 5-ish, right? But they could never beat Florida State and win the ACC and do all that. Can he, emulate that and replicate that? I don't know. I would say no too, right? Because, yeah, you're going to have to get big-time blue chipper type of football players in there. And right now the ACC is viewed as clearly the worst college football conference. So that's going to work against him too. And, yeah, to your point, his name, his history as the NFL coach is not going to have the same shine or luster to it with some of these young kids as it might to Johnny veteran NFL player who's been around a little while and was, old enough to watch him win multiple Super Bowls when he was growing up and all that. I can't even believe it. I can't. I really am. I'm like totally shocked. I'm pumped to see what he can do and how this all shapes out. And starting now, I want to hear about recruiting and all that and where it goes. I'm totally amazed that he's the coach of North Carolina. I really am.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.